All right, guys. It wasn't just Don Lemon that was arrested in conjunction with this church protest. The dingbats from the Department of Justice, well, the queen of the sociopaths at the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, announced on X at my direction this morning, federal agents arrested Don Lemon, Tareen Jean Cruz, Georgia Fort, and Jamal Lyndall Lundy in connection with the coordinated attacks on City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Bondi said, one thing to note is that everybody that was arrested is black, and, that's a thing. It doesn't seem like, especially when you're talking about the, protests that were protesting the ICE Gestapo, which in essence is, at its core, the core narrative for the ICE Gestapo is that it is a racist effort to remove all the brown people that Donald Trump and his goon squad don't really like, right? And it's certainly not an accident to if you want to argue that I'm playing the race card, I don't care, because it's certainly not an accident that everybody that they arrested in conjunction with this nonsense happens to be people of color. They were journalists. I think one was a civil rights lawyer. So I think there's a lot of there's certainly racial undertones and overturns to this arrest. The nonsensical charge, we don't know what the charges are going to be yet, but the assumption is the nonsensical charge is going to be somehow they were interfering with these people's religious worship. If there's some way they can make those charges stick, I mean, the journalists, it's certainly not going to work. They were just covering the protest. The activist, the civil rights lawyer, maybe there's more of a case there. We'll see. But almost every time these goofballs try to prosecute someone who was somehow indirectly or directly involved in a protest, beginning with Washington, D.C.'s hoagie thrower, the sandwich guy who threw a hoagie at a cop, right? Who everything has been no one has been, that to my knowledge, and fact check me on this, but I don't think anybody has been convicted. I think there's been a couple of federal felonies that were converted to misdemeanors. I'm going to fact check this. We'll talk about it on my lives later, on my live at noon today. And it's certainly likely that this fucking stupidity is going to continue in these nonsensical